Hi, it's Carissa again, and I need a baby card. A friend of ours has just adopted a little boy, and we are so thrilled for them. And what I thought I would do with this card is challenge myself. I've noticed that I've used a lot of Old Olive and Kraft cardstock lately, and I use ribbon on every single card. So I've decided that this card I was not going to use any Kraft cardstock, and I was not going to use any Old Olive, and I was not going to use any ribbon. So we're going to see how this turns out. I kind of have an idea of where I'm going here with this, but we'll see. I have 3 little buttons here, and my color scheme is going to be this Bordering Blue, Very Vanilla, So Saffron, and Chocolate Chip. So let's get started here. And what I thought I would do is kind of have this fill up about half of it, and what I want to do though is emboss this. So I'm going to do that with my Big Kick. Okay, so I've taken and I've embossed this piece of Very Vanilla cardstock, and I've used just a Kettlebag folder to do that. And I'm going to stick this down to the bottom here. See if I can get it on there straight. And as I mentioned before, I'm just kind of challenging myself to do something a little different for me. Okay, so maybe chocolate chip isn't that different for me, but at least it's not Kraft, and at least it's not Old Olive. So you're seeing something a little bit different. I'm just trimming this down just to make it a little cleaner. Okay. So I have that there, and then in order to create kind of, well, I don't want to see this seam here, so I'm just kind of creating like a band effect across here. And what I'll do is, I don't even know how big this is. Let's see, let's measure it. It's about 1.25 inches by 4.25. It was just a piece of scrap cardstock that I pulled out, and this chocolate chip is also a piece of scrap that I pulled out, so I'm just going to cut that to 4.25 so it matches the same width as my So Saffron. And I'm going to lay these on top of each other just so you have a little bit of that brown peeking out from behind the saffron. Put this on here. Just kind of lining it up here. Sometimes you just need to take your time on that part, on the lining up process. See, I've got it crooked. That's okay. Easy fix. Okay, I'm just going to start this over. Part of the problem is I'm working a little bit further away from my body than I'm used to. I have the camera set a little bit further back. Okay, that's good. And I'm going to put this right here to create, well, to cover that seam, create like a band across there. So there's that. So that's kind of like the base of my card. I have these buttons that I think I'm going to put something like that. And I have this stamp from the Everything Nice stamp set that I really want to use on here. It says Snips and Snails and Puppy Dog Tails, and I just thought that was so cute that it needed to go on here. I'm going to stamp it in the Bordering Blue. Just because I think the chocolate chip, I don't want it to become too overwhelming on the color scheme. And this, once again, this piece of ivory cardstock is just a scrap piece of paper that I have, and I've just stamped it on there. I'm going to cut it down here, let's see, about there. And I'll cut it then again about there. A lot of crafting is kind of eyeballing, trial and error kind of things. And then I can kind of cut this down here. So you see that sometimes there's things that aren't real precise. It just kind of happens. Like I started out with that piece of scrap vanilla cardstock, just stamped my image on there, and I've just taken it from there. So normally my layer would be, you know, a 1/4 inch larger. This is about that, but, you know, not necessarily exact. Oh, I think that's super cute. Okay. I'm going to take my buttons and get them put on here so that okay. So I have glue dots here. Glue dots are, if you've never seen them before, I haven't used them, I don't think, a whole lot on my videos. They're just like really thin, clear, adhesive dots, and they're good for things like buttons and flowers. They're very flat. You can get dimensional ones, but these are flat, and I you know, don't need to add dimension to a button. I don't need to raise it up any further than it already will be. So, you know, just add it on there. And I've noticed that these holes are kind of all going the same way. So I'm going to kind of twist some of these so they're not all exactly perfect. There we go. So I kind of just have them 3 in a line there. And I'm going to take my bone folder here because I have this kind of distressed line look here, and I'm going to just rub it along the edge of this piece of matted, you know, sentiment here, just to kind of rough it up. And I hope that you can see it on the video. If not, I will make sure that I take a detail picture of it. But you just kind of rub it like a vegetable peeler along the edge of any piece of paper, and it gives it like a distressed look to use it. And so it's kind of just roughed up there. I don't know if you can see that on the video. So I'm going to add that there with my dimensionals. And on the inside, I have this sentiment that says, adoption is when a child grew in its mommy's heart instead of her tummy, and I just thought that would be really appropriate for this card. So I'm going to stamp that on the inside of this card. I don't do a whole lot of sentiments usually on the inside of my card. Usually I just use it for writing, but I thought that would be really cute in this case. So I'm going to ink it up in the chocolate chip ink. You know what? Do I want it there? And I'm just going to stamp it here. So there's the sentiment. You probably can't read it on the screen, but so there it is. There's my card, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I certainly enjoyed trying to make something without ribbon, without Old Olive and Kraft, my go-tos, as I like to call them. But super simple card, just not a whole lot of stamping, but just some layering with some scraps that I had on hand. And so I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you have a good day. Thanks for watching.